Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Mike Lindsley back with you. It is 9 minutes with Mike Lindsley on IGTV, YouTube, and Facebook. Really appreciate you tuning in. We are brought to you by Bryant and Stratton College. Hey, tonight, as we record this, great open house opportunity if you're in the Central New York area or in the region. North Campus and in the city on James Street, they're going to have an open house from 4 to 7 o'clock. You're going to find out all the great things in terms of Bryant and Stratton, the athletics, the academics. The AD, Nick D, will be there. There's going to be a lot of awesome opportunities to go talk to some admission folks and find out what is so good right now about Bryant and Stratton College. Not too late to enroll in September classes as well. We're also brought to you by Axe Exotic Pets. Find Axe Exotic Pets on Facebook and check them out in terms of their wild critters. They've got the snakes and the turtles and the frogs and exotic animals. Make sure you go to Axe Exotic Pets. They will ship anywhere in the continental United States of America. We're also brought to you by your State Farm agent, Matt Graham, and our buddies at Timberbanks Golf Club. I want to focus in on the Philadelphia Eagles for the next 7.5, 8 minutes or so, and, why can they repeat? Well, can they? Sure. Will they? That's a totally different scenario. Now, last year they caught lightning in an absolute bottle. They did everything really right. Right at the top, Howie Roseman and company, the GM, the head coach, Doug Peterson, hired all the right people, and they went out and basically stole Jay Ajayi. They went out and they added depth at the quarterback position. It ended up helping them because Carson Wentz was out for the year with the ACL. Enter Nick Foles, and they win the damn Super Bowl. Not only did they win the Super Bowl, it's almost counted as 1.5 wins or 2 wins because they beat the mighty New England Patriots. Well, let's fast forward here to training camp 2018. What are we looking at with this Philadelphia team? This is a team that didn't need to draft anybody in the first round. They're so stacked. They ended up trading down and stockpiling picks in later drafts, which I thought was a very, very smart move. And they pretty much bring back everybody on this roster. I look at 3 reasons why the Philadelphia Eagles can repeat as Super Bowl champions. Number 1, they've got the quarterback position either way. Nick Foles starting the season, Carson Wentz later, Carson Wentz starting the season, he goes down again, Nick Foles, whatever the case may be, they're going to be super competitive because the quarterback position is not a shitty guy at that stop. I mean, there's a lot of teams right now in the NFL, you can write off 15 to 20 teams because they just don't have a quarterback. The Eagles do. Number 2, they've got, in conjunction with the quarterback, they have the head coach and general manager combination. You need 3 things to succeed in the NFL. You got to have a quarterback, you have to have a general manager, and you have to have a head coach. And Philadelphia has hit the trifecta here. They've got Mr. Roseman doing a great job as a GM, and obviously Doug Peterson as a head coach. Him taking chances in the Super Bowl was probably what won it. Obviously, Bill Belichick deciding to sit Malcolm Butler in that game helped as well. And the third thing, and this is, I think, a big one for me with the Philadelphia Eagles, this team has a defense that can get to the quarterback. I mean, for as much as we talk about the quarterback, offense, how do you slow down that offense? You have a defense that's able to get to the quarterback. And I think the Philadelphia Eagles have one of the best defenses in all of football. When you start to take a look at the depth, you start to take a look at the guys up front. They add Michael Bennett. I'm here to tell you Fletcher Cox is one of the most intimidating, fearsome players in the NFL in recent years as well. You've got some veteran presence there with Elodie Nada. And, look, when you take a look at the secondary as well, look for Ronald Darby to continue to grow in that system, the former Buffalo Bill. I like their safeties quite a bit. They're hard-hitting. They can cover, and you can put them in different pockets of coverage as well. Sneaky coverages for the Philadelphia Eagles. Their defense is something to write home about. This is a very, very good defense. You go to from Barnett to Bennett to Graham to Long and all these different guys. Fletcher Cox, again, as I mentioned. And a lot of these guys are pretty young as well. Fletcher Cox, actually, now, believe it or not, he's been in the league 7 years. But they have a lot of guys, 1, 2, and 3, and 4-year guys who are just getting started in this Eagles system. I think the Eagles defense is going to be one of the best in the NFL in 2018. Obviously, as I mentioned, you got the quarterback position with Carson Wentz coming back here. We'll see how the duties are split between him and Nick Foles for sure. You've got dynamic playmakers. Darren Sproles is getting up there. He's been in the league 14 years already, which is hard to believe. Jay Ajayi is the power running back, of course. And then, as far as wide receivers who they're going to throw it to, Nelson Agholor is going to be there. You take a look at a guy like Alshon Jeffrey, the former Bear. And it was just a matter of time before a couple of these wide receivers could do something. He'd go to Philadelphia. Carson Wentz is really good. He goes down. Nick Foles is really good as well. So you're looking at those kind of guys. You're looking at Zach Ertz, who, in my opinion, one of the best tight ends in football, had a great Super Bowl, a guy who is your security blanket. So important to have a tight end. I know a lot of people love the crazy up and down world of bombing the football and all the rest and wide receivers and you name it. But boy, I'll tell you what, the tight end, security blanket, moving the chains, Philadelphia has exactly that. I always think about Tony Gonzalez. I think about all these different tight ends that have been in the NFL for a long, long time. You look at guys like Ben Coates. You look at Jason Witten. You look at just a million different tight ends that come to mind. Jane Novacek, Brent Jones. I remember Pete Metzelaars and Keith McKellar with the Buffalo Bills. I look at this situation here again. Antonio Gates will be another one. Boy, Philadelphia has a good one, and that is a really, really great target for the quarterback Wentz and or Foles to throw to. Philadelphia, well, how about this schedule? Boy, nothing like right out of the chute here, huh? Matt Ryan and the Falcons in week 1. Then you go at Tampa. So you got 2 NFC South games back-to-back. Then you play the Colts at home. Andrew Luck, they say he's healthy. At Tennessee, Minnesota at home. At the Giants in the first rivalry NFC East game. They play Carolina at home. They go at Jacksonville. Home for Dallas, at New Orleans, Giants on home turf. To me, that's the toughest schedule part right there for this Eagles team. You're going to find out a lot about this Eagles team from, I think, actually October 7th when they play Minnesota, right up until that second Giant game on the Sunday after Thanksgiving. You're going to find out a lot about that team. Minnesota at the Giants, Carolina at Jacksonville, Dallas at the Saints, Giants at home. That's 7 games in a row that are extremely difficult. Get a little bit of a layup there with Washington at home. They should win that game handily. And then you go at Dallas. Again, another tough one. And then, wait for it, they go at the LA Rams, a Super Bowl contender, and then they wrap up with a home game against Houston. Deshaun Watson should be back and healthy this year. Really, really good defense there as well. And then you wrap up the season on the 30th of December, if you're an Eagle fan, at the Washington Redskins. So this is going to be a fascinating season. The Philadelphia Eagles, can they repeat? We know that arguably the toughest thing to do in sports is to repeat. Now, look, a lot of people say, well, it's just getting there, right? I think it's actually harder to win and then do it again. We haven't had a repeat winner in baseball since 2000 with the Yankees. We don't get many repeat winners in the NFL. A lot of times we've seen the teams in recent years win a Stanley Cup, and they get back, they can't win it, or they get to the conference finals, they just can't get back to the top of the mountain. We see it in the NBA now. The Warriors are about the only team, but look what it takes to repeat. Look, it takes Durant, Curry, Thompson, Draymond Green, all those really, 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 really great players, Hall of Fame players. So I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be really, really good. I think they're going to, win the NFC East for sure. I think their closest competitor for that crown will be the New York Football Giants, believe it or not. I think the Giants are going to have a very, very good year. I think Dallas will be in and around there as well. It's going to be a tough division. Washington's going to be better as well, but expect the Philadelphia Eagles to win the NFC East, and I cannot wait to watch Carson Wentz again. I missed him last year playing football. The Eagles missed him too, but apparently not as much as other teams would miss their quarterback because Nick Foles led them to Super Bowl glory. Thanks for watching 9 Minutes with Mike Lindsley, IGTV, Facebook Live, and YouTube. We are brought to you by the Phoenix Sports Restaurant, Welch & Company Jewelers, Wagurski Law Firm, and Brian Comboy of Mass Mutual, New York State. Go with Brian today. Tax-efficient retirement planning. Brian Comboy, Mass Mutual, New York State. Hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports. Download my podcast, the ML Sports Platter, on iTunes and Spotify. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.